Chase at the 40. Look at that move. Look at Chase go. Oh, my goodness. What a gear.
He comes down to this in his car end zone. Intercepted.
McPherson. And Cincinnati is heading to the Super Bowl.
Toss here. Mixon's going to throw. Open man. Caught. Higgins. Touchdown.
Drives. Touchdown. Joe Burrow has his first rushing touchdown of the season.
Hooday, Bengal fans. He is Maan. I am Jake. This is the Bengals Pulse, the heartbeat of our victorious Cincinnati Bengals. Maan, 5 in a row. And this one, I think, just as big as any of them. Not only do we break the curse, finally get that win, that Joe Burrow win against the Cleveland Browns, but another big conference game, another big divisional win. Maan, I'm feeling really good right now. It was a big win today.
It was a big win. It's never easy with these Cleveland Browns. I don't know. I just, it's always been weird matchups against that team, but 13-point win. I'm not going to complain about it. There was a lot of things in there that, we need to work on going into next week's game against the Bucs. But, hey, it's a win, and let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it right now. But before we do, just real quick, Maan and I want to give a big shout out to our guys, Ace and Zim. If you guys have not heard, we are very fortunate that we are going to be coming to you now twice a week. That's right, twice a week, Bengal fans. The Bengals Pulse is going to be changing days. We are going to be now on Mondays and Fridays. Ace and Zim, our guys, giving us this opportunity to bring you Bengal content twice a week. We are so excited for this opportunity, Maan. Again, just absolutely loving what we're doing, and to be able to be with you guys twice a week and bring you this Bengal content is very exciting. So thank you, Ace and Zim.
Yeah, thank you, Ace and Zim. It's a lot of fun doing this podcast, and getting to do it another night is going to be a blast. And I'm thankful for all the viewers, and I'm thankful for you two for giving us a chance. Yeah,
and so what we're going to do is our Mondays are going to be our post game. Actually, the Bengal game just ended about 15 minutes ago. So Mondays will be our post game show. We're going to review the game that following Sunday. Or I'm sorry, that Sunday before, and then on Fridays we'll bring you the preview of the following upcoming game. So once again, we're so excited about this. But let's talk about today's win and how big of a win this game is, Maan. Not just for staying in the hunt for the playoff, but just to get this off of Joe Burrow's back has got to be just relieving for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. He's a competitor. It's killing him that he's never beat the Browns. But, man, a very odd game. The Higgins injury, the Boyd injury really threw things off, and it took them a while to adjust. But they did. They made those key plays to get the victory. And let's break it down, Jake.
Well, let me say this first. And I know I come across as a homer. I know I've been called that even as recently as last week.
It's not true. It's not nice.
It's not nice. But you know what? Once again, Joe Burrow proves me right, because not only is this guy just elite, he's the best quarterback in the NFL, Maan. I've said it before on this show. When you can make everybody around you better, that is what makes a great quarterback. And there's nobody else in the league that can do that like Joe Burrow. I mean, let's look at today's game. No T. Higgins, no Tyler Boyd, no Hayden Hurst. Joe Burrow plays this game today, Maan, obviously with Jamar Chase. That helps because he's one of the top receivers in the NFL. But you're playing with your third string tight end who is starting, your fourth and fifth string receivers who are starting today. And Joe Burrow, although starts off slow a little bit, once he got going, and those guys made plays. I mean, he makes everybody around him better. He is just such an incredible talent, Maan.
Yeah, he did. He does make everybody around him a lot better. I think Irwin and Wilcox and Taylor combined had 100 yards receiving. And you know what? Listen, he believes in him, gave him the opportunity to play, and they they stepped up. They stepped up, and credit to the coaching staff getting those guys ready.
And you know what? And this was an ugly win. We all know that. But like your son Jake said after the game, you got to win these games, right? These are playoff type games. These ugly, gritty wins are what gets you ready for the playoffs. Because Mon, last year, even that Tennessee Titans game, the Raiders game even kind of got ugly there. You got to win those football games come playoff time and even before playoff time, right? When you're trying to make that run. And those divisional games are not easy. They are not easy. The AFC North, once again, I mean, as bad as the other three teams are against everybody else, those are tough teams to play.
Yes. Division games are always hard, always. And like we've said a million times on these podcasts, something about these Browns, these daggone Browns and the matchup problems we have against them. But 13-point win, I'll take it any day. And it's a victory. And you know what? We won't have to see the Browns again until next year.
Yes. Well, yeah. And honestly, I think now that Joe's got this one under his belt, I'm not too worried about that anymore. But it's that first one. You got that first one underneath your belt. Let's go over these stats, Mom. Joe Burrow, the guy we just talked about, I think at one point he was like 6 of 16 or 6 of 17 or something. And again, he's out there playing with 4th, 5th string, 3rd string guys. But once he got going, he finished 18 of 33. Obviously, second half, so much better. 239 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. That interception was off of a tip pass. But big game for Joe Burrow. Once again, like I said, just making everybody around him better. Only sacked 1 time, Mon. For some reason, I'm looking at the ESPN stats. They called that Jamar Chase play a sack, which that was a reverse the entire time. The O-line guys were releasing downfield, so we're not going to count that as a sack. So 1 sack today, given up by this Bengals team. And again, what a huge improvement. We've talked about before this offensive line gelling. They are playing at a top 5 level right now, this offensive line. That's a good front 7 they played today, and really gave Joe Burrow room to make plays when he had to in the pocket.
Absolutely. Yeah, they've improved a lot over the year. A little bit of a setback, though. I mean, Leal Collins had 3 holding calls today. And, there's some things we need to work on going into the Buccaneer game. But, hey, we survived all the penalties, and there was a lot of them. Yes. Starting field position was really poor in the first half. I think we started inside the 23, maybe 4 times. Yeah. A couple of really bad special teams penalties negated a nice kick return. And so we need to clean those up. But you know what? The offense did start really slow. Like I said, Higgins and Boyd, that really threw everything off. Yeah. But they settled down, and as you said, Burrow took over. MVP. The guy needs to be in that discussion.
He should be the MVP.
He's a warrior. And one other thing that really gets me: how many tip passes were there today? There seems to be about 3 or 4 a game.
I would say that right now is probably the only thing I would say is with this offense right now is we do tend to get some batted passes. And I think you could see even when Joe Burrow spins a little bit today, even they were a little bit high. I think he's worried about Jadeveon Clown. Notice how I didn't say Clowney because he's a clown. Jadeveon Clown and Myles Garrett. I think he's a little concerned today. So the ball's coming out of his hand a little bit high today. I think those batted passes are definitely something that needs to be cleaned up because we've had probably, I would say, a good 3 or 4 of them a game.
Yeah, it is. It's something, it could have been catastrophic. It did lead to 1 interception today. Yeah. But, the first game against the Browns, the Bengals are driving that tip pass. It was going to be a first down, but T. Higgins led to an interception.
Yep.
Mushroomed out of control there, and then what happened at the end of that game. But, hey, we're not worried about that last Browns game. We're worried about this one, and we won by 13.
That's right. Since that last Browns game on 5 in a row, right?
Yes.
5 in a row. Okay.
Jake, real quick, let me read. It was a great. There was an excellent tweet from James Palmer, and I want to read it real quick. He's an NFL insider, and he said he was told that the Bengals changed their offense week 5 to give Joe Burrow more control and make adjustments. Quarterback coach Dan Pitcher and offensive coordinator Brian Callahan have helped this offense's evolution since then. And after week 5, Cincinnati has won 6 of 7, and Burrow is in the MVP race. It's pretty impressive. I love how they adjusted. That they self-scouted and they're like, hey, we need to start doing this, and it's working. They've won 6 of 7, and we said it last week. I'll say it this week. Hats off to that coaching staff.
Well, and again, I think that says a lot about Joe Burrow. Once again, I've said it before, but that's an interesting stat because you know who that kind of reminds me of. I'm not saying he's the same guy. I'm just saying, but Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning really, his career really took off once he was allowed to make those adjustments on his own. You saw Peyton Manning kind of struggle in the beginning of his career, and they gave Peyton Manning the floor and let him kind of make adjustments at the line of scrimmage. And once he did, obviously, he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Jake, he is so good. We're talking about Joe Burrow.
Yes.
But he's still evolving as a player.
Yeah,
he's going to get better. Listen, the one thing that concerns me, I'm just splitting hairs here. He has balls of steel, and he's scrambling and diving. I wish he wouldn't do that at times. I'm just worried that something bad might happen. But you know what? The guy's a warrior, and those scrambles helped tremendously today.
Well, I mean, he had 3 first down runs, and all 3 of those runs, he never tried to slide. I mean, he's putting his shoulder down. He's like you said, he's the ultimate competitor. There is nobody on that field, no matter who they're playing, that wants to win the football game more than Joe Burrow. And again, that's why he is that's why he's the MVP right now, as far as I'm concerned. That's why he's the most elite quarterback, because he is the most well-rounded quarterback in the NFL. Those big runs, again, he had 6 carries for 10 yards, but again, 3 of those runs picked up first downs. They were huge plays. Joe Mixon, our guy, he's back. 14 carries for 96 yards with a long of 40, that big 40-yard run that he had. That was also a great play call. Samaje Perine, 4 carries, 22 yards, and a big touchdown run right before half. Again, Jadeveon Clown actually runs right by Samaje Perine as he hits his run fit, and Samaje just kind of sneaks out around Jadeveon Clown. And big touchdown run, man. Yeah. Big touchdown run.
It was a great play.
So, and you talked about it before. And I guess Coach Taylor listened to you, Maan, because you said, Coach, we got to run the ball more than 10 times against the Cleveland Browns. Well, today they ran it 18, 24, 26 times today. The Bengals ran it. And again, won the football game, right?
They didn't give up. At first they were struggling running the ball because the Browns were playing they were crowding the line because they knew the wide receivers were hurt.
Yeah.
But you know what? He stuck with it, and they had a little breakthrough there and led to that victory.
Yeah, we call it letting the dam break. That's as a coach, we always tell our running backs, listen, if they're going to play, 8 or 9 guys in the box, you got to be patient. You got to be patient. You got to wait for that dam to break, and it did break. Yeah. A couple big runs out of those 14 carries. I think he had 3 carries for over 15 yards, I think, something like that. So again, that's what the Bengals have to do going into the playoffs and making this run at the end. All right, here we go. Receivers, real quick. Jamar Chase, our guy, he's back again. Just took the team on his shoulders along with Joe Burrow. Jamar had 10 catches, 119 yards, and a touchdown. And that touchdown was just so incredible by him and by Joe Burrow. What a throw, what a catch. Those guys are so connected, Mon. Joe Burrow threw that ball before Jamar Chase was even at the top of his route, before he went out of his break. And just an incredible, incredible play there by those 2 guys. Trent Irwin, again, every week, doesn't put up big numbers, but every week has one big catch. And today, the Bengals run that beautiful flea flicker. Remind me of the old Boomer Esiason days, right? The old Boomer Esiason, James Brooks days where Boomer would throw it downfield. But Trent Irwin with that big catch on the flea flicker. He had 2 catches for 58 yards and a touchdown, and the big catch being that 45-yard touchdown. He's wide open. Again, a lot of the times that's the hardest play to make when you run down the field that wide open, for a quarterback to throw it, for a receiver to make the grab. I know you think it might be easy, but it is not easy when a guy is that wide open to make that play.
Yeah, that was a wonderful, unbelievable play call by the coaching staff. You got to give them credit that the Browns were cheating. They wanted to stop P. Ryan and Mixon. Perfect play call for that time. And you're right, he was open by 15 yards. And beautiful play.
Beautiful play. And Trent Taylor, again, makes a big catch. Really should have had 2 catches. You know, I don't care what anyone says. That toe tap on the sideline, that was a catch. But had a big catch right after that almost. 1 catch for 34 yards. A big first down by Trent Taylor. Mitch Wilcox throws 1 in. Joe Mixon had a couple. But once again, you know, without Tyler Boyd, without Hayden Hurst, without T. Higgins, Joe Burrow finds a way, Mom.
You know, I'm sorry, Jake, you're scrolling. We have an iPad here, and he's looking at the stats, and one just popped out, and I'm sorry, I sort of wasn't paying attention. Logan Wilson, holy cow!
Oh my God! I was just about.
I'm sorry, that caught my. I'm like, what the hell am I looking at?
It's because it is high popping. 17 tackles today for Logan Wilson. I think he had 11 or something at halftime. 17 tackles, a half sack by him. Von Bell, 7 tackles, had a half sack as well. Cam Taylor-Britt, 6 tackles, and I don't even know, Mon. He had to have 3 or 4 pass breakups. He played out of his mind. Cam Taylor-Britt, we said it last week, Mon. Right now, he's our starting corner from here on out. He's going to be our starting corner next year and probably for years to come. This kid is playing out of his mind right now.
Jakey had 3 pass breakups on the 1 drive in the 4th quarter where
the biggest drive, right?
Absolutely.
The biggest offensive drive for the Browns.
13-point lead. They had the ball inside the red zone. I think 2 of those happened inside the red zone.
They did.
It was to Cooper.
Yeah.
Great play. The guy's feisty. He has gotten better every week. You're right. He's going to be one of our starters next year. Cheeto comes back healthy. I hope we re-sign Apple for another, small contract, get him back because he plays solid too. But we'll worry about free agent contracts in the offseason. Great play today by Cam Taylor-Britt.
And Watson, I mean, Watson's testing him, right? He's going after him every play, and the kid does not blink. Cam Taylor-Britt does not blink.
He's tough.
He's going to be a heck of a player. And let's talk about the other guy. Again, we talk about him every week on the show. DJ Reader. We've said it. He is the best nose tackle in football by far. He is getting to that point where he's one of the best defensive players in the NFL. I don't care what anyone said. And again, call me a homer if you want to. That guy completely controls the line of scrimmage. He is so impressive, Mon. He is so dominating.
How good is he, Jake? When he was injured, we saw the Bengals' run defense was solid with him playing. All of a sudden, there was a massive drop-off. They struggled tremendously. Even when Tapau went out, that hurt too. But since he's come back, what has he done? He shut down Tennessee. Henry, he shut him down. He shut down Chubb and Hunt today. Listen, they didn't have an answer for him. They did not. He dominated that game.
Oh, no, he did, Mon. And again, once again, Logan Wilson with 17 tackles. That's insane. I mean, hopefully, we saw Jermaine Pratt. We saw Jermaine Pratt with that big play last week. He was really, he kind of carried the defense last week. And this week you have Logan Wilson. Again, those 2 guys, Logan Wilson, Jermaine Pratt. We were talking about it at lunch today before the game. We got to re-sign both of those guys. We really do.
Yeah, we did talk about that. Isn't it something? Listen, my son Jake just showed me a tweet. Joe Burrow at the press conference after the game said it's about time people start realizing DJ Reader in the NFL because DJ Reader's a player. He was really pumping him up in that press conference. It is true when the team leader says that. Listen, man, going back to DJ Reader, he absolutely annihilated that good offensive line of the Browns. Really good offensive line.
Well, let's look at what he did because Nick Chubb, 14 carries for 34 yards, Mon.
Wow.
14 carries for 34 yards. DJ Reader. And again, we say that because we didn't have him the first time we played Cleveland Browns, right? What a difference maker. The dude is so good. He had 5 solo tackles. And again, every single one of those tackles was at the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage. Just incredible player. And then also we had Sam Hubbard and Jermaine Pratt, again, each with 5 tackles. Sam Hubbard with a sack. He now takes over the team lead. I think he has 6.5, and I think Hendrickson has 6. So Sam Hubbard, now takes over the lead in sacks. And just again, man, guys out there making plays. Jesse Bates, a great pick, reads the play well. Again, a big play, because we haven't had a lot of those plays this year where guys, we've had the interceptions, we had the fumble recoveries and those stuff. We haven't had a lot of those turnovers on defense. So big play for Jesse Bates.
Jake, one thing that Adam Archuleta said during the telecast today, the Bengals their sack numbers are down from last year, but they're number 2 in the NFL in quarterback pressures. I knew they were up there. I didn't realize they were number 2 in the NFL, and that's a good stat. Yep, sack numbers will come back, but quarterback pressures are good, causes bad pass, errant throws, or bad decisions here. And you know what? They played a solid game, and it was good to see Hunt and Chubb struggle today, because they have been a thorn on our side.
Yeah, I mean, Hunt absolutely. He was invisible today. He had 2 catches for 6 yards and 4 carries for 6 yards. Yeah. I mean, Hunt completely invisible. And we saw Money Mac. He missed an extra point, but besides that, 1 for 1, and then 2 for 3 for extra points. Drew Chrisman, real quick, 5 punts for 205 yards, 2 of them inside the 20, and then and a long of 51. So again, Drew Chrisman kind of coming into his own now as the Bengals punter, and you like to see that. But again, this defense, come on, you got guys stepping up everywhere. In the beginning there of the football game, I felt like we were maybe playing a little off the receivers, but they bounced back, Mon, and man, oh man, the defense just played out of their mind today once again, making big play after big play. And again, we see that bend but don't break, right? Yes. Bend but don't break defense. And if it works, I guess let's run with it. But I would like to see, and I talk about it every week, but I would like to see that momentum stop by the defense, right? Where we go down and score, and the defense comes out, gets a 3-and-out or a big turnover or something like that. I still quite haven't seen that yet, as much as I would like to this year. But besides that, Mon, I mean, the defense is just playing unreal right now.
Yeah, they played good. Their number one option, number one goal this game was to stop the rush game, and they did. They wanted Watson to have to throw the ball. And listen, they did give up some plays today. I get the frustration. It was, it was legitimate, but overall they did a good job. My son just showed me another tweet from the press conference today from Coach Taylor. He said that Higgins was lost during warmups. I guess he re-aggravated that hamstring, and that's when they made that determination, like it's not going to happen. So,
well, he came out for one play, right?
He did.
One play, and I think maybe they just pulled. Listen, kudos to that coaching staff again, because you and I were sitting next to each other, just like, put Higgins in. Why is Higgins just standing there? But obviously we knew that he was questionable with he had the hammy, but he wasn't on the injury report yesterday, so thought everything was good. Hopefully, we will see both Higgins and Boyd, and hopefully Hayden too. Hopefully Hayden comes back this week as well. But the Bengals Pulse will be in Tampa on Sunday, so we are excited about that.
Absolutely, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I always love seeing the Bengals live. I hope Higgins comes back, because we're going to need him. It's hard to run on that Tampa D. It is hard to run. We're going to have to play our A game against that team. I know they're struggling a little bit, but anytime you play Brady, look out. Jake, we have got to talk about that Raven game too.
Oh,
we have got to. They've won 2 games by 3 points over the last 2 weeks. And
it's unreal, man.
They were down to those.
They are so bad.
And I want to say something. Aaron, our Raven fan that watches the Bengal Pulse all the time, because he comments, "Hi, buddy. How are you? We appreciate you."
Listen, even Aaron has got to admit that Ravens team is they're not very good. They're just not very good. I mean, they are so lucky that they are playing a bad schedule right now, because like you said, they win, and normally you would say, well, they're gritting out these win stuff, but they just look bad, man. I mean, it's not like they're playing well and there's a play here and there. They just look bad. I mean, they're oh god.
Their defense is saving them and bailing them out. They play two teams with inept offenses, the Steelers. And the week before, was it the Panthers they played the week before?
No, it was the Broncos.
The Broncos.
They won 10-9.
10-9. All they needed, the Broncos needed another first down to kick a field goal to win that game. But hey, you know what? They got 3 more games in the AFC North, one against us. Listen, it's never easy to play those games. We just got to stay tied with them because it's going to come down. It could come down to Week 18 in Cincinnati. Got a lot of football. Things are going so well for the Bengals right now. And, we just got to get these little nagging injuries addressed. And one game at a time. Let's move on to Tampa.
Don't the Ravens play – they play 3 more divisional games, right?
They do. They play us.
Okay, so they play us,
Browns, and Steelers again.
So come on, Browns and Steelers. Come on. Give us a little bit of help here, please.
Do they play the Browns in Cleveland? Okay.
Yeah, I think they play – I do think they play the Browns in Cleveland, I believe.
I'll tell you what, that's going to be a tough game.
Well, again, and I was saying it after the game today. Like we need the Browns and the Steelers to play well from here on out because we're going to need them a couple times to make some plays. But at the same time, our Bengals control their own destiny, right? I mean, we need Kansas City to lose another one somewhere, but the Bengals control their own destiny. I mean, we talked about it earlier. Bengals went out. Kansas City drops another one. We're the number 1 seed.
That? Next week. Where's that in Cleveland?
It's next week in Cleveland.
Okay.
All right.
We'll
next
talk
week
about
in Cleveland.
that Friday night. We'll talk about that Friday night.
We will preview that Friday night as well because that's going to be a big game. And we need the Cleveland Browns to play. It's so weird we're having to root like today. Rooting for the Steelers was just absolutely nauseating. I felt like I was going to vomit in my mouth. But
Browns, Falcons, Steelers, Bengals.
Okay.
Browns. So the Ravens got the Browns, Falcons, Steelers, Bengals again, and we have Tampa, New England, Buffalo. But this Bengals team is battle tested, man.
Yes,
That's a one thing you can say about this Bengals team is when you got a guy like Joe Burrow, you don't really care about the schedule, right? Because Joe Burrow he is that kind of player where you are going to be in every football game you play. And, we can't worry about that. We control our own destiny right now. We just need somebody to knock off the Chiefs. Just somebody in these next 5 weeks. I think right now
it's not going to happen.
Right now, no, it's not going to happen today. But there's like 2:50 something left in the first quarter. The Chiefs are up 6-0 over the Denver Broncos. But again, all that we can't worry about all that right now.
No, one game at a time.
This game today, Maan, was really a defining game. It really was. And I know it was against the Cleveland Browns, and they're not a very good football team, Maan. But the Bengals had to win this football game for many reasons. Not just because of keeping up with Baltimore and another conference win, another divisional win. Not because of all that. Because the Bengals have struggled against that terrible football team in Cleveland. To get this win today, I really feel like there is going to be a relief in the locker room today after this football game. And I think these are the kind of games, like your son Jake said, these are the kind of games that are going to carry you further on down the road.
I agree. Listen, not to harp on bad news here. The Browns have dominated us over the years. They have. They've won 6 in a row, 7 of 8 or 8 of 9. Listen, beating them, that's a psychological win for the Bengals.
It is.
And, hey, listen, it wasn't always pretty today, but, they did enough to win, and you're supposed to beat teams like the Browns, and they did that.
That's right.
All right, one game at a time. Let's keep on chipping away. I think everything's going to crumble in our favor. Everything's going to fall into place. It's going to come down to Week 18, potentially, for first number 1 seed in the playoffs or the AFC North.
Yeah.
And I really, really think it's going to come down to that game. We just got to keep on chipping away. And,
1 week at a time, right?
Yeah, exactly. 1 week at a time.
Well, again, before we get out of here, I just want to say this real quickly again. What Joe Burrow, we talked about earlier last week. Joe Burrow was not going to lose this football game today. And to watch Joe Burrow, to watch all this adversity and everything happen around Joe Burrow, and for him to go out and literally him and Jamar Chase put this team on their back. I don't know what to say. I mean, we haven't had a quarterback like that in a very long time.
No, he's some quarterbacks would have crumbled when your two of your top receivers, top tight end are out, and he didn't. He rose to the occasion, and just great play. And another thing, how good is Jamar Chase? How good is that guy? Let's face it, everybody on that team knew that the Browns were going to double him. They're going to do everything in their power to keep him from winning the game. He still gets 100 yards receiving. The guy's just elite.
Well, and again, I don't want to sound like a homer, Maan, but he arguably is the best receiver in the NFL. I think he may be 1A, Justin Jefferson 1B. That's my thought on it. But again, Jamar Chase is just so explosive. He's got strong hands. He's like a running back. He's like an elite running back that runs the ball well. I mean, you see him on those swing passes. You see him on the screens. He is just another level above the rest.
Jake, I think he is the best. Call me the homer. He is the best. I'm sorry.
I agree.
When he gets that ball, it's just, I'm like, honestly, I feel like he can take off anytime he touches the ball. I'm serious. It could be a 1-yard swing pass. I feel like, okay, he could score a touchdown here. He is just special.
Mon, the Cleveland Browns bracketed him all game today, and he had 10 catches. I mean, without Boyd, without Higgins, they knew where the ball was going, and they still couldn't stop Jamar Chase.
They're afraid of him.
10 catches, 119 yards, and a touchdown. Good to have Mr. Jamar Chase back, man. It's good to have him back. All right, guys. Hey, again, we're going to be coming to you twice a week now. So we will see you guys again on Friday. Make sure you tune in. He is Maan. I am Jake. This is the Bengals Pulse.
Homer.
Hey, once again, follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. On Twitter at Bengals_Pulse9. On Instagram, the same without the at. Bengals_Pulse9. Check us out on all those podcast platforms, Stitcher, Spotify, and Apple. Once again, if you like this podcast, make sure you give us that 5-star review. If there's a 7-star review, give us that too, but a 5-star review.
Jake.
And there is Jake. Thank you, Jake.
Quasi-producer.
Yes, our quasi-producer. Thank you. All right, Jake. Thanks for the help today. And again, man, just check out all the podcasts right here on the Wincinnati Podcast Network. Our guys, Ace and Zim, doing their thing. Man, it's exciting, man. It's exciting. We're going to be on twice a week now, seeing you guys and just keep the comments coming. We absolutely love them, positive or negative. Let us know what you think. Let us know how you feel. Once again, he is Maan. I am Jake. This is the Bengals Pulse. Hoo-day, Bengal fans. We will see you Friday.